This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Wednesday, January 29, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, citizens are assured that the $100,000 cash grant distribution will continue after the 2025 national budget is passed.
We can't distribute it unless the budget is passed.
Into its fourth day, the budget debate heats up as MPs clash over subventions for local government organs and mega projects. Animal rights activists are yet to find 4 dogs captured and released by police, and a walk is planned for Sunday to raise awareness of animal abuse and cruelty. Ramadan Village returns from March 1st. Chinese Guyanese speak out on stereotypes. And in sport, Guyana Harpy Eagles start hunt for another 4-day title. And opportunities loom at 2025 West Indies 4-day championship. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. Thank you for joining us. First up, as over 300,000 Guyanese await their $100,000 cash grant, Attorney General Anil Nandlal has reassured citizens that the funds will be distributed once the 2025 national budget is passed. In his Issues in the News commentary on Tuesday night, Nandlal addressed the ongoing distribution and responded to criticism from the opposition regarding delays.
Now, this is a massive exercise, never done in this country before. And yes, we are learning. We are not perfect. And we have repeatedly assured every single Guyanese that they will get their money very shortly. A lot of the money is in the budget. I believe the money that we had to share out, to distribute, we have done that. The rest of the money, the remainder of the money, is in the 2025 budget. We can't distribute it unless the budget is passed. So we have to go through this process, and upon the conclusion of the passage of this budget, then the monies will be distributed.
In a fiery exchange during Wednesday's budget debate, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Sonia Parag and opposition parliamentarian Ganesh Mahaipal clashed over subventions for neighborhood democratic councils, NDCs, and municipalities. Mahaipal, representing the APNU-AFC opposition, accused the PPPC government of failing to meet its promises to increase subventions to NDCs and municipalities. He argued that these crucial grants had not seen the expected increases over the current administration, leaving local government organs struggling to provide for their communities. But Parag swiftly rebuffed these claims.
And as per their manifesto promise, substantially increasing the subvention to NDCs and tongues, not achieved. Mr. Speaker, we left in 2020 with the subvention for NDCs and municipalities at $5 million and $18 million respectively, and the city of Georgetown $30 million. In addition to the Georgetown Restoration Program, which saw a clean, green Georgetown restored to the Garden City. Today, in 2025, there is no increase in those subventions, and Georgetown is back to being the garbage city.
Oh, and we want to talk about subventions and what you gave. Do you know that every year since 2021, the NDCs, inclusive of the APNU-controlled ones, have been in receipt of a grant in addition to their subvention under the subvention program of $4 million, and in some cases $5 million, taking it to $10 million and $9 million. You don't know this. You don't know this because you don't do anything. You don't know that. This year, $2.8 billion is under the subvention program, and we will ensure that the NDCs can utilize them to enhance and upgrade their communities.
Local animal rights activists are still searching for 4 dogs that were captured by police at Leguan last week and reportedly released in the Bushy Park area, Region 3. Despite police claims that the dogs were unharmed, activists fear for their well-being and are increasingly alarmed by the situation. With the animals still accounted for, an awareness walk is set for Sunday in Georgetown, aiming to raise public consciousness about animal cruelty and demand greater accountability from the authorities responsible for enforcing.
Recently, there was a circulation of a few photos of some dogs from Leguan. That was on Friday. It captured not just the attention of animal lover, but in general the entire Guyana, as it was spreading countrywide. Now, the thing is that the Guyana police force, they display blatant violation against animal rights. And they are the person that we look up to uphold and serve and protect, including our animals. Now, I'm not saying the Guyana police force, they don't help us. They have helped us tremendously throughout the years that I can recall. They help us a lot. Even the Guyana Fire Service. So for to see our lawmen dragging these animals like a piece of garbage on the road with ropes around your neck, if you look closely at the photos, you'll see the animals were like they were being strangled. Now, it's not the first time Guyana has been hearing about NGOs in Guyana. We've conducted spay and neuter campaigns throughout Guyana, whether it's Forever Hope Alive, Tales of Hope, Rosewood, we have Possum, Paw Circles. We have been doing campaigns upon campaigns years now. So Guyana know that there are organizations who can take care of these animals. Had the police called us, we would have mobilized ourselves, because when taking these animals, you can't just grab them like that, because you have to cater about their if they're going to be injured, and I'm pretty sure they were injured. We have things like carriers, and we know how to lure them into cages. Now, I don't know what they did with them afterwards, but they would have claimed that they released them at Bushy Park. Actually, there was a statement before saying at Bartica. I would have mobilized a team of persons at Bartica twice for one day, which was on Saturday. They checked the entire Bartica, and we had persons at Bushy Park. We still could not find those animals. Now, Tales of Hope would have spayed one of those dogs. For us to recognize her, it's very simple. There's a tattoo in the ear. We have not found that dog as yet, and we're still looking. So I believe the Guyana Police Force, they can do better. They can call upon us or even call the GSPCA, and we will catch them, and, actually we would have even advocated for them to be adopted, because those dogs were very friendly, and there were pictures circulating with them as well, being friendly towards the group. So it's very sad to see that the kind of lack of empathy and compassion from the Guyana Police Force towards these sentient beings.
We believe that it was the responsibility of the owner to protect her livestock. This is, how she's earning a living, and it's her responsibility to protect her livestock, right? We already have an issue with strays in Guyana, and it's something that, the animal rescue groups are working on, as well as the government of Guyana with the spay and neuter campaigns, and this is going to help reduce the number of strays in general. So in the interim, I would say in that situation, protect your family, protect your livestock, secure it, right? And there's the issue of stray animals barking at you in the streets, and I can tell you there is one in my street that barks at me. And what any dog lover will tell you is that acts of aggression usually come from fear, right? So maybe this animal was abused previously, or they're just scared of you, right? And that dog that barked at me, I took a few treats for that dog, and he never barked at me again, right? So it's just approaching the situation with empathy, and that can make the world of difference. I believe that acts like this, blatant disregard for laws by the law enforcement of itself, can have a trickle-down effect, right? Because, if the police can do this, what about just the general public? They would feel that it's okay to conduct acts of violence and cruelty against animals, right? Because, of course, if the police can do it, I can also do it, right? And I believe that we've already seen examples of this with our national animal, the jaguar, a near threatened, almost endangered species, being killed and displayed as a trophy.
So Possum Oasis has organized a peaceful walk on Sunday. We're not just highlighting the recent act of cruelty by the Guyana Police Force, but we would like to touch on all the other incidents where persons have been burning animals alive, chopping, flogging, all these different things we want to highlight during this walk. Now, this walk is to raise awareness and to educate the public, let them see. We will be having the pictures of these animals because sometimes you see a horse brutalized and then 2 weeks later you forget about what happened to that horse. So we want to do this walk to remind persons of the various animals that have endured cruelty by the hands of humans.
4 stalls at the Alboystown Market in Georgetown were damaged recently when a car veered off the public road between James and Sussex Streets, plunging into the stalls. Acting Chief Constable Virjan Gafoor told the newsroom on Wednesday that an investigation is ongoing and will be forwarded to the Mayor and City Council once it is completed. Stalls 43, 44, 45 and 46 located in front of the market were the ones damaged. Gafoor said it is not clear whether the driver was charged, if he was under the influence, or if he was speeding. In the meantime, though, repair works are ongoing.
Investigation revealed that on Friday night, Friday the 18th, about 2:10 hours, 02:10 hours, a car drove into stall at Pennington's Market, caused minor damages. About 4 stalls. 2 owned by one person and the other 2 owned by the next person. So 2 persons own the 4 stalls. Based on that, we are doing an investigation. So far, I could say that one stall holder doesn't want any further police matter. She also gave a statement to that. But the other stall is a stall that closed up. So we still trying to get that person. The person will be here either today or by Saturday, because there's only operate on Saturdays. So as soon as that, we do our comprehensive report and forward it to the Mayor City Council. I ain't get the report as yet. I'm not in possession of the report. We are doing the investigation. The investigation officer gone to court. She's in court. So, and the report hasn't finished as yet. So as soon as we get it, we forward it to council. And
the City Constabulary Department of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council has been battling a staff shortage for years now. But Acting Chief Constable Gafoor said the department is continuing to do its best with the limited resources. Overall, the constabulary has 113 staff members at a required strength of more than 200. The problem is compounded when members go on vacation and sick leave. But even so, Gafoor maintained that the department has not given up and that there is a move by the City Council to recruit more workers.
it's not an easy road. It's not an easy road, but we're making it. We can't give up. How we're dealing with it, and then we have person going on vacation leave, and then we have person going on sick leave, it's crucial. It's real hard. But as I said, we cannot give up. We are working. We have to work. At Bordeaux, 1 breakage we had so far. But these things would need more security, because you will move from one point to the next point and you don't know who monitoring you. So it's very challenging at some time. The ranks complaining, but I keep motivating them, say, look, we can't give up. We can't give up. We're going to go with it. And that's it. We are going, by God's grace. I know that there are advertisements for members of the City Constabulary. There's in the on council Facebook page, they're advertising for members of the City Constabulary. So there's a move there. Hopefully that we get we staff them and we could put them out there as early as possible.
In observation of the holy month of Ramadan, Guyana's second Ramadan Village will be launched on February 27, 2025, and is anticipated to be larger with diaspora participation. The village will be open to the public from the first day of fasting, so the National Ramadan Village will be launched on February 27 on the lawns of the Muslim youth organization, Wolford Avenue. Iftar and dinner will also be offered.
In its inaugural year 2024, overwhelming responses and participation from Muslims and non-Muslims from various parts of the country were recorded for the National Ramadan Village. The village's uniqueness, calmness, and spiritual lure will again offer a fresh and innovative environment to observe the holy month of Ramadan. This establishment will continue to provide a wonderful opportunity for Guyanese to experience the spiritual ambience of Ramadan and for families to gather and share with others for the breaking of the fast. It will facilitate prayers, reflection, and education on all weekends, Fridays to Sundays, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. during this very sacred month of Ramadan. The National Ramadan Village, with its magnificent Islamic theme design and the relevant components of its grand setting, will once again present a glorious sight to behold. The organizing committee expects that visits and participation in 2025 will surpass the 24 numbers, both from Guyanese of diverse backgrounds across the country and overseas visitors. In a multifaceted society like Guyana, and evident from our national festivities, participating and sharing in each other's culture and traditions allow for the strengthening of bonds and enlightenment. The National Ramadan Village provides yet another opportunity to build upon this impacting and rich tradition. Along with prayers and spiritual reflection, the National Ramadan Village will accommodate a number of booths which will showcase the various aspects of the teachings of Islam, along with garments, literature, local and international cuisine, including sweetmeats.
This year, we have built upon the experience of the last year. It has been, I think, a unique experience last year for the first time in Guyana to have a Ramadan village. As I had emphasized last year, I reiterate again, the idea here is not to replace the masjid. The masjid serves its purpose in the Muslim community. It's an integral part of the rituals and the practices and the acts of worship of the month of Ramadan. This is an added facility that offers a social environment that is conducive to Muslim families, to families as a whole, to spend time, to congregate, to listen to informative presentations, be motivated, and to also have opportunity to experience other benefits of being in that environment.
When the newsroom returns 4 years later, MPs clash over facts of a Milo Falls project, and Tingaki speaks out on overcoming stereotypes as a Chinese Guyanese. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. The Amila Falls hydropower project has long been a topic of contention in Guyana's politics, and it found itself yet again at the center of an exchange in Parliament on Wednesday. Minister of Public Works Juan Edghill and former Minister David Patterson both sought to address what each said were the facts surrounding the 165 megawatt project, with both sides offering different perspectives on its viability and the role of the Inter-American Development Bank. Edghill, defending the project, cited a 2016 report commissioned by the then APNU AFC government as evidence that the Amila Falls initiative was sound, despite criticism from Patterson, who held the portfolio as infrastructure minister at the time.
The same report commissioned by APNU AFC, 8.4.3. Conclusion. From a financial and economic point of view, development of Amila Falls seems to be the optimal solution for meeting the electricity demands in Guyana. The project should be financially restructured in order to make it more attractive for GOG and potential investors, since the perceived risk of investing in Guyana are high, mainly due to political and regulatory reasons. Let me explain to Mr. Duncan, who is running out of the house, why this is so. I sat in the Parliament. I was serving as minister within the Ministry of Finance alongside Ashley Singh. Thank you, sir, with distinction. Because I'm a man of distinction. Blackstone, one of the biggest multinational listed corporations on every stock market, was going to finance the Amila Falls hydro project with not 1 cent of taxpayers' money being required. 80 million US dollars from the 250 we had earned from Norway through the low carbon development strategy would have been put in as equity. And all that was required was the Parliament of Guyana to vote to increase the debt ceiling to give the necessary guarantees to the investor to invest. It was Mr. Patterson and his party that got up in Parliament with the scissors. And let me explain to the Guyanese people, because this is about the people. Knew that if we had gotten a Amila Falls hydro project and the cost of electricity went down, they saw no chance of ever getting back into government.
However, Patterson, who has long been a critic of the project, refuted these claims. He accused the current administration of misleading the public, insisting that the IDB had never endorsed the project.
So in fairness to the bank, they did their best to make this project viable. But even the best experts, sir, cannot make a rotten apple good. So on the very first page of this report, this is what the IDB conclusion was. The IDB loan, sir, is here, would entail a credit rating of RC7, which exceeds the risk tolerance as defined for all projects. And the bank, the IDB bank, has never approved the loan of this rating. Let me repeat that, sir. The bank, the IDB bank, in the 66 years of their existence, has never approved the project after they did 4 years of due diligence. Sir, a project with such low credit rating as the Amila Falls project. Sir, the IDB gave this project the lowest, second lowest possible ranking on their scale. Sir, you could only use your imagination, sir, what type of project would get a ranking lower than this, sir.
The Amila Falls project has a long history, first identified in 1976 during a national survey of hydroelectric power potential in Guyana. It gained renewed attention in the early 2000s as part of Guyana's broader effort to transition to cleaner, low-carbon energy sources. Back in 2014, the Guyanese government allocated US $80 million from the Guyana-Norway partnership under the LCDS to fund the equity component of the project. Despite support from Norway and a positive 2016 study by the Norwegian government, the APNU and AFC coalition voted to shelve the project, citing concerns over its financing and sustainability. Fast forward to 2020, when the Air Finale-led government came to power, the current administration has reignited efforts to revive the Amila Falls hydropower project, aiming to diversify the country's energy mix and reduce its reliance on fossil fuels. The project has not yet taken off, though the current Air Finale-led administration requested proposals for a build, own, operate, transfer BOOT model in 2023. Attorney General Anil Nandal has accused the opposition APNU-AFC of deliberately trying to delay the 2025 elections by focusing on the issue of biometrics. Nandlal, in his Tuesday night commentary, said he believes the opposition is using the absence of biometrics as a smokescreen to undermine the electoral process, despite the fact that Guyana already has a robust biometric system in place.
So now they want biometrics. Now, I have said to you over and over again that we have biometrics in our system already. We have fingerprint, we have fingerprints, we have pictures, photographs, we have distinguishing marks. All of that are in our database. Those are biometrics. Biometrics is not a magical word. So we have biometrics already in the system. And we have several safeguards to ensure that a wrong person can't come and vote. So let me assure you that there are multiple mechanisms in place. You know, you vote.
For the years 2023 and 2024, the Georgetown Public Hospital conducted 100% minimal invasive kidney stone surgeries. This disclosure was made by the hospital chief executive officer, Robbie Rambaran, on Tuesday during a press conference. This type of surgery, Rambaran said, allows fast recovery of patients and is a significant milestone for the hospital.
And some of the investments that we have been making is that for 2023, 2024, I have said this at the press conference, our end-of-year press conference. For kidney stone removal, they were 100% for both years, 23, 24, 100% minimal invasive, where the patient goes home the next day, as compared to patients being in the hospital to 4 to 5 days with an open surgery. By just this last Thursday, Dr. Hemraj Ramcharan messaged me, and he said there are currently 5 surgical lists, and it's being conducted in 5 different operating rooms. We have 6 operating rooms. One is always available for in an emergency. So the 5 rooms were operating simultaneously, and they all were doing laparoscopic surgery. This is minimal invasive. That's a big plus for us from where we came from. And those are things that we celebrate. We want people to understand this. And we are able to build these competence and skills and have the necessary resources, the surgical towers, and so in about 3 years.
The National Commission on Disability is currently formulating its strategy plan for 2025 to 2029. And at a consultation session on Tuesday at the Pegasus Hotel in Georgetown, Executive Secretary Beverly Pyle told the newsroom that the new plan will reflect more measures to ensure that persons with disabilities have access to the justice system. It will also include measures to help ensure these individuals are employed with the right access in the workforce and that they be furnished with adequate information, especially digitally. The new plan is expected to be ready by mid-February for approximately 22,000 persons with disabilities that the Commission has on its database.
One of the things that we're looking forward to is to make sure that persons with disabilities are able to access the justice system for sure. All right, that's one of it. Another thing, they must be able to be employed with access that is absolutely necessary for persons to be part and parcel of the workforce. That is things we're looking for. Also, there is a lot done already in education, but continuing education, specifically in the form of information being given to the disability arena. That's what we want to make sure that happens. And we're actually here talking about the information coming digitally now, because we know we're in the whole realm of technology. So what we used to do before, like the braille and the other things, now we want to get digital stuff coming into it, specifically for persons with disabilities who need that. These are some of the areas that we're looking at. And what's also important is that we continually do our survey to make sure our data for persons are intact. So we're having a database, and we want to make sure that that database is accurate and current as we work through our strategic plan. And we've got approximately 22,000 persons with disabilities on our database. And you know, at some point, person says we have approximately 40 to 50,000 persons with disabilities, but we have to be very careful with that, because when one person have 3 or 4 disabilities, sometimes people count it as 4 persons. So you tend to get that figure 50,000 or 40,000. But in reality, the prevalence of disability will have a number higher than the persons with disabilities. So our number now is approximately 22,000 persons with disabilities.
Scott Tingaki, in an insightful interview with the newsroom, has opened up about the challenges of living as a Guyanese with Chinese heritage, sharing his personal journey of confronting stereotypes and challenging misconceptions about his background. His story offers insight into the broader struggles faced by people from diverse ethnic communities in Guyana, highlighting themes of identity, resilience.
So I'm half Chinese, half Portuguese. A very odd mixture. Growing up, attending nursery school, attending primary school, it was very obvious that I stood out compared to my other classmates. I can remember at a young age, so this is nursery school, I would often wonder why I wasn't a little darker, because I thought that it would be better in terms of fitting in, and I had to find things that were uniquely Guyanese about me to help me interact, help me relate with my other colleagues and classmates and so on. Have I faced any stereotypes in Guyana? Yes. From very early on, I would like to say from primary school, there was always the assumption that I was good at math. Secondary school didn't make it any easier. Math was one of my worst subjects. So, of course, you know, that was very ironic because I'm not fitting into the stereotype at all. Moving on to sixth form, it got even worse. The major stereotype that I would like to change about Chinese Guyanese, we don't know Mandarin. We can't speak Cantonese. We know Creole, we know English, because at our core, we are Guyanese. The erroneous notion that I eat Chinese food on a regular basis, that is not the case. No. When I mean Chinese food, we're talking about things like dumplings, wontons, spring rolls, pao, things like that. No, that's not the case. Very normal, average Guyanese diet. Personally, I use humor to combat the stereotypes the persons may have about me because of my Chinese appearance. And the number one joke that I usually would have had to combat is the idea of eating cats and dogs since very young age. So I guess the benefit of it is that it forced me to be very witty and very clever, and I developed a thick-ish sort of skin. I wouldn't say I'm thick skin. I would say to a certain extent the Chinese are well represented within Guyanese culture and media, but in other aspects, not so much. So, for example, in terms of Guyanese literature, the Chinese are not well represented. If you were to compare the representation of the Chinese in Guyanese literature in comparison to Jamaican literature and even Trinidadian literature, there's not a lot of representation. In terms of music, in terms of Trinidadian calypso, they have prominent Trinidadian Chinese who have really impacted the music industry and the development of the music industry, particularly calypso, through their contributions, even carnival within Trinidad. But the number one way how the Chinese are well represented in terms of Guyanese culture will be food. Major thing would be food. So in the history of British Guyana, the Chinese who came wanted to be British more than anything else. Because coming from Chinese society, you came from society where your value was based on rank and prestige. So when they came to Guyana, they realized the ethnic group, when they came to British Guyana, they realized that the group that would have had the rank and the prestige were the British. So when they were finished serving their time on the plantation and they were able to move off on their own, to build lives of their own, they aspired to emulate the British ideals. Now in other territories like Trinidad and Jamaica, I'm not saying that they didn't do that, they did. But in Trinidad and Jamaica, the community made more deliberate efforts to hold on to traditional Chinese medicines and cures. They held on to their language a lot more strongly. So they tried to preserve certain aspects of their culture while trying to emulate Britishness. That did not happen on a major scale within British Guyana. So that's why you will find that most of the Chinese who descend from indentured laborers like myself, the Chinese diaspora can contribute to adding further to the melting pot that already exists in Guyana. And what they can offer, especially for Chinese Guyanese, they can offer us a unique opportunity of reconnecting with our roots.
When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and bridge reports along with sport news. Stay with us. Welcome back to the newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. The 2025 West Indies 4-day championship commenced Wednesday, and the Guyana Harpy Eagles' first test is Barbados' pride at the National Stadium, Providence. Harpy Eagles are seeking their 8th title in 10 seasons, while Barbados' pride, the only other side to win the championship in the past 9 seasons, is looking to make a strong start after finishing 4th in 2024. Details in this Akim Green report.
The long-awaited West Indies 4-day championship, the 2025 season has started. The first round is being held here at the National Stadium, Providence. It is the clash between the Guyana Harpy Eagles and Barbados Pride. In the context, those two teams are the only two sides that would have won this title since the PCL, the Professional Cricket League, would have commenced in 2014. From the Guyana Harpy Eagles standpoint, Kemal Safri is leading the team in the absence of regular captain Tevin Limlak, who is still in Pakistan on West Indies duties. And at the middle, it was Ramon Rifa, the Pride captain, calling it correctly. He opted to bat first. The Harpy Eagles would have given a debut to all-rounder Richie Lucknott, and from the Pride side, it was 2 debuts in terms of Lenuka Boucher, the opening batsman, and West Indies all-rounder Matthew Ford. Now, there are 3 other matches being held in this round. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force are hosting the combined campuses and colleges in a day and night encounter at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. The Windward Volcanoes are hosting Jamaica Scorpions at Arnesville in St. Vincent. And the other encounter is the clash between the West Indies Academy and the Leeward Hurricanes at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. After this first round, the competition continues from February 5th, and the Harpy Eagles will still be in Guyana as they will be hosting the combined campuses and colleges. Reporting for the news from the National Stadium, I'm Akin Green.
Good morning, man. Good morning, man.
Still on 4-day cricket, Newsroom's Akim Green reports at the end of day 1 between Barbados at the National Stadium, Providence.
It is the end of day 1 here at the National Stadium, Providence, and the Guyana Harpy Eagles are hosting the Barbados Pride in this round 1 encounter of the West Indies 4-day championship. At the end of the day, the Barbados Pride would be the happier team as they have reached 346 all-out after 84.3 overs. They were led by debutant Matthew Ford. Matthew Ford, an active West Indies white ball player. He would have top scored 82. Jonathan Drakes would have got 100 when these two sides met in Antigua last year. He would have made 70, and test selectee Zachary McCaskey would have made 64. It's a day for the debutants actually, as from the Guyana Harpy Eagles standpoint, off spinner Richie Lucknott, he would have bagged 4 for 69 from 17 overs. He got ample support from Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, who picked up 2 for 37, and for Sarami Pamal 2 for 87, and Niall Smith had 1 for 60. It would be a day the Harpy Eagles would look back and certainly say that they allowed this one to get away from them. They had a lot of extras, 18 in fact, 13 of which were no balls, a couple of drop catches, and it just allowed things to swing out the way, especially in that tea session. But day 2 is expected to start at 10 hours, and the Harpy Eagles will be hoping for a good start from the opening batsmen in Tejaran Chandrapal and Matthew Nandu. Reporting from National Stadium, I'm Akim Green.
Guyana's Under-17 women's national team endured a frustrating start to their CONCACAF Under-17 Women's Championship qualifiers in the Dominican Republic, succumbing to a 2-1 defeat against Cuba. Cuba broke the deadlock in the 44th minute, capitalizing on a one-on-one opportunity against the Guyanese goalkeeper. Guyana emerged from the interval with renewed vigor and leveled the scores in the 56th minute. However, Cuba restored their lead 8 minutes later, converting from a set-piece situation. The junior Lady Jags will face Panama in their next fixture later this evening. Drawn in Group C alongside Panama, Cuba, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, Guyana must either win their group or finish as one of the two best second-placed teams to progress to the next stage of the competition. In an address to announce the commencement of the 2025 West Indies Four-Day Championship, Director Cricket Miles Bascom highlighted that the championship precedes a visit by South Africa A and 3 tests against Australia to start the new cycle in the World Test Championship. The test will also have a new head coach in Darren Sammy. It undertones that strong performances in this championship could present future opportunities.
As we embark on the 2025 edition of the West Indies Championship, I want to extend my best wishes to all the teams, players and support staff as they prepare for what promises to be an exciting and competitive season. This year holds special significance as we celebrate 60 years since the West Indies Championship was first held, then known as the Shell Shield. Over the past 6 decades, the tournament has been the bedrock of cricket development in our region, producing legends who have graced the international stage and inspired countless fans. It continues to serve as a crucial platform in our pathway for the growth of first-class cricketers and for building resilience and refining skills for the international arena. The 2025 championship introduces several innovative elements aimed at enriching the experience for players and fans alike. From the use of Kookaburra balls and the inclusion of pink ball day-night fixtures to the reintroduction of first innings points in drawn matches, we are committed to broadening the challenges faced by our players. These measures are designed to simulate the diverse conditions they will encounter on the international stage, building their adaptability and mental toughness, considering the ultimate quest to improve the standard of our Test cricket. The teams will once again battle for the prestigious Head of the Week's trophy with the added incentive of an attractive prize purse of US $250,000 for the champions and US $100,000 for the runners-up. The 2025 West Indies Championship also precedes an 8-team series at home against South Africa and the start of a new World Test Championship cycle with a home series against Australia. We are thrilled about the continued participation of the West Indies Academy and the combined campuses and colleges, which reinforces our commitment to expanding opportunities for the emerging talent and the student athletes respectively. This tournament is a celebration of the passion, talent and legacy of West Indies cricket.
Guyanese boxer Shaquane James and Abiola Jackson delivered stellar performances at the Trinidad and Tobago National Boxing Championships. The event attracted top fighters from across the region and was part of the Trinidad and Tobago Boxing Association's roadmap to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. The Guyana Boxing Association President Steve Ninval expressed immense pride in the duo who were handpicked to represent Guyana at the competition. Both fighters, Ninval said, seized the opportunity to showcase their talent and further establish themselves as regional contenders. And with that, we've come to the end of this newscast. On behalf of the news and technical teams, I am Kurt Campbell saying thank you.